Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Om Shapad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Stottara Shatashri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Samstapakacharya Savor the whole world, Yadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nithai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4. Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. Text number 3. Ime Angirasaha Satram. Ime Angirasa Satram Asate Adya Sumedhasaha Asatedya Sumedhasaha Shashtham Upetyaha Shashtham Upetyaha Kave Muhyanti Karmani कवे मुह्यन्ति कर्मणि इमे अंगिरसः सत्रम् आसतेद्य सुमेधसः षष्ठं षष्ठम् उपेत्याहः कवे मुह्यन्ति कर्मणि इमे अंगिरसः सत्रम् आसतेद्य सुमेधसः अष्टं षष्ठम् उपेत्याहः कवे मुह्यन्ति कर्मणि इमे अंगिरसः सत्रम् आसतेद्य सुमेधसः अष्टं षष्ठम् उपेत्याहः कवे मुह्यन्ति कर्मणि इमे अंगिरसः सत्रम् आसतेद्य सुमेधसः षष्ठं षष्ठम् उपेत्याहः कवे मुह्यन्ति कर्मणि इमे. All these Angirasaha, descendants of the dynasty of Angira, Satram, sacrifice, Asate, are performing, Adya, today, Sumedhasaha, who are all very intelligent, Shashtam, sixth, Shashtam, sixth, Upetya, after achieving, Ahaha, day, Kave, O best of learned men, Muhyanti, become bewildered, Karmani, in discharging fruitive activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Nabhaga's father said, all the descendants of Angira are now going to perform a great sacrifice. But although they are very intelligent, on every sixth day they will be bewildered in performing sacrifice and will make mistakes in their daily duties. Please repeat this translation. Nabhaga's father said, all the descendants of Angira are now going to perform a great sacrifice. But although they are very intelligent, on every sixth day they will be bewildered in performing sacrifice and will make mistakes in their daily duties. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Nabhaga was very simple-hearted. Therefore, when he went to his father, the father, in compassion for his son, suggested that as a means of livelihood, Nabhaga could go to the descendants of Angira and take advantage of their misgivings in performing yajna. Texts 4 and 5, I'll read by myself. Tamstvam shamsaya sukte dve vaishwadeve mahatmanaha te swaryanto dhanam satra parisheshitam atmanah dasyanti tet atha tanarcha tatha sakritavan yatha tasmai dattva yayo swargam te satra parisheshanam. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nabhaga's father continued, "Go to those great souls and describe 2 Vedic hymns pertaining to Vaishwadeva. When the great sages have completed the sacrifice and are going to the heavenly planets, they will give you the remnants of the money they have received from the sacrifice. Therefore, go there immediately." Thus, Nabhaga acted exactly according to the advice of his father, and the great sages of the Angira dynasty gave him all their wealth and then went to the heavenly planets. Text 6. Tam kaschit svikarishyantam purusha Krishna darshanaha uvachotarato bhyetya mamedam vastukam vasu. Translation. Thereafter, while Nabhaga was accepting the riches, a black-looking person from the north came to him and said, "All the wealth from this sacrificial arena belongs to me." Text 7. Mamedam rishibhir dattam iti tarhi smamanavah syan nau te pitari prashnaha prishtavan pitaram yatha. Translation. Nabhaga then said, "These riches belong to me. The great saintly persons had delivered them to me." When Nabhaga said this, the black-looking person replied, "Let us go to your father and ask him to settle our disagreement." In accordance with this, Nabhaga inquired from his father. Text 8. Yajñavastu gatam sarvam uchishtam rishaya kvachit chakrurhi bhagam rudraya sadeva sarvamarhati. Translation. The father of Nabhaga said, "Whatever the great sages sacrificed in the arena of the Daksha Yajna, they offered to Lord Shiva as his share. Therefore, everything in the sacrificial arena certainly belongs to Lord Shiva." Text 9. Nabhagastam pranamyaha tavesha kilavastukam ityaha me pita brahman chirasa tvam prasadaye. Translation. Thereupon, after offering obeisances to Lord Shiva, Nabhaga said, "O worshipable Lord, everything in this arena of sacrifice is yours. This is the assertion of my father. Now with great respect, I bow my head before you, begging your mercy." Text 10. Yatte pita vadad dharmam tvam cha satyam prabhashase dadami te mantra drusho jnanam brahma sanatanam. Translation. Lord Shiva said, "Whatever your father has said is the truth, and you are also speaking the same truth. Therefore, I, who know the Vedic mantras, shall explain transcendental knowledge to you." Text 11. Grihana dravinam dattam matsatra parisheshitam ityuktvaya Tvantarhito Rudro Bhagavan Dharmavatsalah. Translation. Lord Shiva said, "Now you may take all the wealth remaining from the sacrifice, for I give it to you." After saying this, Lord Shiva, who is most adherent to the religious principles, disappeared from that place. Text 12. Ya etat samsmaret pratah sayam cha susamahitah kavir bhavati mantrajño gatim chaiva tathatmanah. Translation. If one hears and chants or remembers this narration in the morning and evening with great attention, he certainly becomes learned, experienced in understanding the Vedic hymns, and expert in self-realization. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. The Srimad Bhagavatam is containing history, which is selected history of some very, very important incidents that happened in the past, which are meant for self-realization. Simply by hearing or chanting or remembering these historical incidents, which are all in connection with the Supreme Lord and His pure devotees. Such narrations, if somebody hears or remembers or chants, then certainly they will achieve the ultimate goal of life, which is self-realization. So that is a special thing about the Bhagavatam. Now this last verse that I read, 12th verse, if one hears and chants or remembers this narration in the morning and evening with great attention, he certainly becomes learned, experienced in understanding the Vedic hymns, and expert in self-realization. This is a result of just hearing this narration in the morning and evening with great attention. So, the Bhagavatam is meant to be heard or recited or remembered after hearing or reciting with great attention. So that's why the first canto, Suta Goswami is beginning to narrate the Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya, and he's telling he himself, he heard the Bhagavatam with great attention when Shukadeva Goswami was speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. And by the grace of Shukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami became learned in the entire subject matter of the Bhagavatam. As you know, Parikshit sat and heard for 7 days. He became perfect in self-realization. He went back to Godhead. Suta Goswami also sat and heard. He also became perfect simply by hearing 7 days with great attention. That is the power of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is complete. It is perfect. That you simply hear with great attention and you are able to achieve self-realization. Self-realization is very difficult. Just to understand, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. So many philosophers, so many saintly persons who are learned in the Vedas, they are engaged in searching for the truth of the self. So many of them. They are wandering all over the universe. They have mystic powers. They are learned in the Vedas. They are expert in argument. They have got ability to perform severe austerities. They are detached from material enjoyment. But they are not able to realize the truth about the self. What is this self? What is this Atma? But look at our good fortune. We are not necessarily seekers of the truth, most of us at least, I may safely say. We are not searching, but we are fortunate to come to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada directly tells us what is this truth about the self. Because Prabhupada is presenting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is directly giving you what is the truth. Dharma projita kaitavo atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu. This Bhagavatam is rejecting all cheating religious systems, and it is subject matter which is actually meant for the Paramahamsas, for the topmost transcendentalists. So what Prabhupada is presenting is that special literature, Bhagavatam, which is meant for Paramahamsas. But even we can actually hear this and benefit. It's not only Paramahamsas who can benefit from this. Anyway, Paramahamsas are self-realized souls. So they have no need for attaining self-realization by hearing Bhagavatam. So they hear for a different purpose. But for those who are not self-realized, hearing Bhagavatam results in Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu. One will be able to distinguish reality from illusion. Spirit is truth, is reality. And this body or matter is illusion. But we cannot distinguish easily between what is spirit and what is matter. Spirit is what we are. I am spirit soul, you are spirit soul, every living being is spirit soul. You are that. Why should you go searching for something which you are? I said all these saintly persons, they are searching what is the truth of the self. You are that very self. But if they try to examine themselves, they are unable to actually perceive or see the self. Atma darshanam doesn't happen. If we examine who we are, we will only conclude that I am this body, or I am the mind, or I am intelligence, or I am ego, something like that. And since we are not seekers, we will just accept that. We will live our whole life based on that understanding. But at the end, we are completely bewildered. When death comes, then we have to leave everything and go away. That is when I think, what happened? I thought I am this body, or I am the mind, or I am the intelligence, I am the ego. So what's happening now? So, Bhagavatam helps us understand that we are the truth, the spirit, the Atma beyond this body, mind, intelligence, ego. And not only the truth about ourself, but also the truth about our identity as part of the supreme truth, Krishna. Part of the truth, supreme truth. So that realization, complete self-realization. Because I am this self, tiny self, small self, Anu Atma, and Krishna is Vibhu Atma. Krishna is the supreme self, the complete self, the whole. I am part. So this realization, I am part of Krishna and I am connected with Krishna as his eternal servant, eternal devotee. This realization directly is given in the Bhagavatam. Directly is given in the Bhagavatam. And it is revealed by such great devotees as Shiva, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, all such great souls, they are revealing. And directly Krishna is also revealing, just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is directly revealing the truth. So, this narration, what is this narration all about? Let's quickly just go through what I just read. This is a narration about one Nabhaga. Nabhaga was the son of Nabhaga. So this Nabhaga went to Gurukul to study and did not return after the expected number of years. So his brothers, thinking that, oh, he has decided to become a sannyasi, Naishtika Brahmacharya, he has accepted the vrata. So he has not come back home. So they divided their father's property between themselves without keeping any share for this Nabhaga. Nabhaga, however, returned little late and he asked, what is my share of the father's property since you have all divided amongst yourselves? So then they said, your father is your property. Not your father. Our father is your property. They didn't disown the father. So then this Nabhaga, simple-hearted person, simple person, he is not very intelligent in understanding what is the meaning of that. So he went to his father, I want my share. I asked my brothers and they said, our father is your share. The father could understand that this Nabhaga has been cheated by his brothers. So he said, you have been cheated. You have been denied any share of the property. So now I'll tell you something. He wanted to help his son. He said, all the descendants of Angira are now going to perform a great sacrifice. And although they are very intelligent, Sumedha Saha, still on every 6th day they will be bewildered in performing sacrifice and will make mistakes on their daily duties. A Vedic sacrifice is not an ordinary event. This you have to understand. From all the descriptions in the Bhagavatam, it's very clear. These Vedic sacrifices actually are meant for self-realization. But people get bewildered and misled by the performance of the sacrifice. When they get some riches, they think, oh, this is the achievement of this sacrifice. I got a lot of riches. Or they get some mystic power, and they think, oh, mystic power, this is the result of the sacrifice. Very nice. So they get bewildered. Or you can actually elevate yourself to the heavenly planets. So they are very much excited about that. Oh, this is the result of the sacrifice. Very, very rarely will a person performing a Vedic sacrifice have the aim of self-realization. Very rare, extremely rare. And some of them, when they start with the idea that I will do the sacrifice so that I'll become self-realized, in between they get distracted. And they'll settle down for something much, much less. So, Nabhaga's father is telling him that go to that arena of sacrifice where these descendants of Angira are going to perform a great sacrifice. But even though they are intelligent to be able to even do the sacrifice, they should have some intelligence. But every 6th day, they'll be bewildered in performing the sacrifice and will make mistakes on their daily duties. It is like if you are doing a sacrifice, you're supposed to do something, this, then this, then this, then this. Supposing some mistake happens in doing the routine preparations, then you have to go back and again do the same thing. So what is happening? Every 6th day, mistake is happening, and at the end of that day, they are realizing, oh, we have made a mistake. So begin again. You see? You have to again begin and do it correctly. Then only you can proceed with the next step. So therefore, because they will be bewildered every 6th day and it happens few times, then they will be wondering what is going on. The same mistake we are repeating. 6 days back, we did the mistake and we have to correct that. Again 6 days they have to do, no? 6th day that mistake happened. Correct? So again the same mistake they are repeating, because this time they are determined not to do that mistake. It's not that some other mistake happened. Same mistake they are repeating. 6th day. Something is going wrong. What is it that's going wrong? All of them are intelligent. They will start thinking, why is this mistake happening? How come we did this mistake? And they're all discussing among themselves. They're not able to figure out. Oh, we should be careful. We should not do this mistake. Again, all of them together, none of them are able to detect that mistake. Again, 6th day, it's not one person, whole descendants. And they are all descendants of Angira Rishi. They are all very intelligent. They have been trained in doing the sacrifice. They are not untrained. They know what should be done. That's how they come to know the mistake later on. So to them, you go to those great souls and describe 2 Vedic hymns pertaining to Vaishwadeva. When the great sages have completed the sacrifice and are going to the heavenly planets, they will give you the remnants of money they have received from the sacrifice. So when this Nabhaga will describe these 2 mantras, which will actually help them to avoid that mistake that they have been doing every 6th day. Then they will successfully complete the sacrifice. When the great sages have completed the sacrifice is over, successfully they have completed, then they will go back to the heavenly planets. That time they will give you whatever riches they have received in that sacrifice, they will give you. Because you helped us complete the sacrifice. Therefore, go there immediately. The father advised the son, go there immediately. And he taught him those 2 mantras, and he faithfully went and told them the 2 mantras. Thereafter, while Nabhaga was accepting the riches, just they were giving him, a black-looking person from the north came to him and said, all the wealth from the sacrificial arena belongs to me. Actually, it is Lord Shiva who has come in disguise. Then Nabhaga told him, no, this belongs to me because the great saintly persons are given me. Then that black-looking person, that is Shiva, in disguise, he told, let us go to your father and ask him to settle this disagreement. Because Nabhaga was sent by his father to that sacrificial arena. Let us go to your father. So then the father of Nabhaga, what did he say? He said that when the great sages sacrificed in the arena of Daksha Yajna, they offered Lord Shiva as his share, whatever they sacrificed in the arena. Therefore, everything in the sacrificial arena certainly belongs to Lord Shiva. The place they had chosen, these saintly persons, descendants of Angira Rishi, because they had to select a proper place for doing a sacrifice. See, sacrifice is not simply go to some marketplace and buy some ghee and some wood, and this is not sacrifice. A real sacrifice is you have to gather the proper ingredients from the right places. And then you have to choose the place, the time, the chanter of the Vedic mantras which are meant to be chanted in that sacrifice. The right kind of priest should be there for the sacrifice. And whatever the necessary ingredients they have to secure. If gold is required, they secure gold. If a wood of a particular tree is required, they have to go searching for the tree. Some trees grow somewhere in Himalayas. So you go all the way to Himalayas and bring that wood. Why can't they do sacrifice in Himalaya itself? Because the sacrifice is performed in the arena they have selected. So they'll go get that wood from that tree which is only growing in Himalayas. They have to get that wood. So a Vedic sacrifice is not a small thing. Nowadays they have made a shortcut for all this. They substitute. If something is not available, they'll substitute. Substitution doesn't work except when somebody substitutes anything and everything with the holy name of the Supreme Lord. There is no need of doing any other yajna. Simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Except this substitution, no other substitution will work. So, the place where these people had selected to do the sacrifice, that arena actually was belonging to Lord Shiva. So, the results of the sacrifice actually belong to Lord Shiva, because the place belongs to Lord Shiva. So therefore, everything in the sacrificial arena certainly belongs to Lord Shiva. So by telling this, Nabhaga's father is telling, actually, this black person is Shiva. He is the proprietor of that place. Therefore, whatever riches the saintly persons got, the descendants of Angira, they got by performing the sacrifice, it belongs to him only. So this Nabhaga said, oh really, it belongs to him, because he is the proprietor of the place. So Nabhaga, he offered obeisances to Lord Shiva, because Shiva is a great personality, who has come disguised. I didn't recognize him. Okay. First thing, he offered obeisances. And then he said, O worshipable Lord, everything in this arena of sacrifice is yours. This is the assertion of my father. Now with great respect, I bow my head before you, begging your mercy. I want your mercy. Meaning that I actually came to the sacrificial arena to collect the riches because I am bereft of any wealth. So my father sent me to this arena, go and collect the wealth. Now since it belongs to you, I am asking your mercy. So Shiva then said, whatever your father has said is the truth, and you are also speaking the same truth. Therefore, I who know the Vedic mantra shall explain transcendental knowledge to you. In exchange for this truthful behavior of both the father and the son, Shiva agreed to explain the transcendental knowledge to Nabhaga. And he also told, now you may take all the wealth remaining from the sacrifice, for I give it to you. I give it to you. Take it. After saying this, he disappeared from the place. So then the conclusion is of this narration is that nothing more is told in this Bhagavatam. The conclusion is, this particular narration, if one hears in the morning and evening with great attention, such a person becomes learned, experienced in understanding the Vedic hymns, and expert in self-realization. Because Shiva is bestowing transcendental knowledge upon Nabhaga. So the same benefit which Nabhaga got, you simply hear this narration, that's all. But you should hear with great attention. One who hears with great attention in the morning and evening, Sayam Prataha, Pratas Sayam cha Susamahitaha, Susamahitaha, with great attention you have to hear. Samsmaret, you remember or you hear or you chant this narration. Then you become expert. Kavir Bhavati, you become Kavi means you become learned. Mantrajna, you become expert in the Vedic hymns, understanding of the Vedic hymns. Mantrajna. Gatim chaiva tathatmanaha, Atmagati, the destination, the real ultimate destination of the soul, which is attaining the kingdom of God. That also you will attain simply by hearing or remembering this particular narration. So that is the power of the Bhagavatam. Therefore we should daily hear Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, either hear or read or recite daily Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Not Saptaha Bhagavatam Sevaya. Nowadays people, they attend this Bhagavat Saptaha and think that by 1 week of attending that Saptaha they will become self-realized. No. Saptaha was for Parikshit Maharaj because Parikshit had only 7 days time. We don't know how much time we have in this life. So whatever time you have now, you simply hear Bhagavatam all that time. That's all. Nityam, as long as you are living, every day you hear, or every day you read, or every day you remember, or every day you recite Bhagavatam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. 9 different ways you can execute devotional service. Any one way, one or more ways, you will become self-realized. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.